I think it goes back right to the beginning in terms of what's your goal. So one of the things I covered in the session was the fact of, whilst you can use social media, it may not actually be the relevant place for your market. So one of the things you've got to go back to is, who's your audience? What are you trying to do in terms of the communication and marketing messages or PR messages? And then explore which are the right platforms where your community would be. So just as you would do in terms of, let's say, radio or print, you're actually going to say, well, let's make sure that we're present in those different media because that's relevant to that audience. It's the same in terms of, should we be on Facebook? Should we be on Bebo? Should we have a blog? Should we have a podcast? Should we use online video? It's really about what's relevant for the audience and the message that you're trying to convey.
My name is Philip Howard Scott. I'm with Eastman Kodak Company. I am the Worldwide Director of Marketing for the Digital Capture and Devices product group. I haven't been to Ireland before. It's my first time here, and I'm very excited to be here. Unfortunately, I only have a day and a half as I progress to another country to do some more work. But I did take the opportunity yesterday to see a little bit of Dublin and actually went up to Hout and viewed the nice seaside village up there. The philosophy for us is go to where consumers are and use the mediums where you can reach them and are relevant to them. We participate in many different types of social media networks. We have people that are on Twitter. We have a person that is responsible for blogging, our chief blogger by the name of Jenny Cisney. It's reaching consumers and conveying your value proposition and your products and making sure you're relevant to those audiences. It's reaching people in the right places. We also have Facebook sites and 3 blogs, so constantly reaching out to consumers to show them what we can bring to them and help them make their connections with their family and friends.
A lot of it always comes back to the story that people are trying to tell, whether it sort of tugs on some sort of emotion, tells some truth, whether that's an individual story or whether it's a brand story or sort of a service story of what they're sort of offering to the market. So that was sort of, I guess, the key thing that I tried to get across. But also then there was a couple of other things in terms of knowing your channel. So for example, there's a lot of tips and tricks that you can use on YouTube, to help improve your rankings and your viewership. And also then use technology and invite people into to engage with your content. A lot of what we saw today was sort of video, but what didn't come across was actually getting people involved in the video production that you're doing. So online is an interactive medium, so it allows people to actually get involved in what you're doing. And technology and innovation, it's out there and it can be used. It shouldn't be sort of ruled by technology, but where technology can add to the consumer experience and even make things that even a little bit simpler, then that's key as well. So I guess that was sort of the key message that I was trying to get across.
Well, I suppose if you were to condense down the advice about podcasting, it would be to think of your audience, look and see, make your podcast relevant to your audience, make the content relevant to your audience, try and make it entertaining and compelling, and the audience should then follow. You don't need to be technical. The tools that are available, the software tools in particular, are very easy to use. And what we say to people is, don't let the technology get in the way. Get out and try and do it. If you've got a message to get across, go out and try and get that message across. Take a little bit of time to learn to use the tools properly, and then you should be fine.
I'm not sure, and I mean that's the big problem. Nobody knows which way things are going to head in the next 5 or 10 years. We'd like to predict. I mean, if the people who run RTE or TV3 or Today FM knew exactly what was going to happen over the next 5, 10 years, they'd be able to make money on the basis of it. But I think the model where you get your news supply free and there's advertising related to it is the one that'll apply in the future, because I think what'll happen is, because you have all these new sources of news, going back to the thing about blogs, going back to the thing about different forums and news coming from different sources and coming in different ways, and with the growth of YouTube, what's going to happen is events that in the past were just covered by established news organisations will suddenly become, you'll have the growth of citizen journalism. We've seen a lot of it already in the States. So it's going to become very complicated and a very crowded market. So I think for any organisation to set itself apart and say, well, we can charge for this because it's quality, that's going to be very difficult. So a lot of it will be down to how they can convince advertisers about how much people are using their websites. And but I still, in 5 years, if I spoke to you, I would be surprised if all of what I've said proves not to be the case, because it's changing so quickly.
Anybody can put up a 5-page website saying this is what we do and this is who we are. But to make that website successful and help that help make your business successful is requires, I suppose, more than just design and build. It also requires marketing experience and things like that. The key things, I suppose, are what are the goals of the website? Who are you trying to speak to? So what's your audience? What does success mean for your website? So how are you going to measure that success? A successful website is going to be defined by one that has the effort has been put into the planning process, that the effort has been put into deciding how the site is going to function, putting in a decent functional specification, and really knowing who your audience is before you embark on the design.